Because I know these guys. I've been to the tennis tournament. I've seen it. And each one of them would buy 500 million each. And then they would just successively say, I bought 500 million for my fund. He bought 500 million for his fund. The next week, someone else buys 500 million. By the time 4 of them have bought 500 million, bang, 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 the FOMO kicks in like there is no tomorrow, like there is no tomorrow, like there is no tomorrow.
While recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is trading slightly below 13,800 US dollars. The price of Bitcoin right now is about to knock out the 2019 high of exactly 13,868 US dollars. If we can break that level, the price of Bitcoin would trade once again in the range of back in 2017, early 2018. But in this episode, we're not going to focus on shorter time frames. We're going to focus on longer time frames, namely the BLX ticker. And I want to answer the question in this episode right now if I personally think it is possible that Bitcoin is going to trade for 1 million US dollars somewhere in the future. That is going to be our main topic of today's episode, and now let's jump right into it. Welcome back to another episode. Glad to have you guys back again. So today I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I personally believe there is a chance that Bitcoin is ever going to trade for 1 million US dollars. And the first of those is institutional FOMO. Probably you already heard about Michael Saylor, the guy on the right in here, which is the CEO and founder of MicroStrategy, a public traded company on Nasdaq that just recently invested almost $500 million US dollars in Bitcoin. And the CEO, Michael Saylor, is very convinced they're not going to be the only ones. I mean, we've seen it already. PayPal onboarding, Square onboarding, Robinhood onboarding, and so on and so on. There's so many banks out there who are going for licenses right now that they can offer cryptocurrency custody for their customers right now. Because Bitcoin is coming. No matter what you think, no matter what you believe, Bitcoin is coming. And some banks, they already are recognizing that right now, and they don't want to miss the boat. That just makes perfect sense. So the first reason is institutional FOMO. And to be fair, if we have a look at the BLX ticker, to slope all the way up to 1 million US dollars, well, most probably we can't do that in this bull cycle right here, but maybe we can do it in the next one or the one after that. But there is definitely a bullish case for Bitcoin, and there are definitely multiple reasons out there why Bitcoin will at some point in time trade for 1 million US dollars. Again, the first one, institutional FOMO. Now, this is actually a very interesting interview for all those people out there who are not convinced yet. I don't want to play the full one, obviously, but I just want to play one single part, which should definitely make you think. And after this, if you don't see the institutional FOMO coming, well, I don't know what to tell you. Let's play the clip.
If they really knew how to make money, they would put $1 billion into it, and then they would get out on the wire and they would say, I bought $1 billion worth of it. I'm going to buy more. And, and if they were really smart, they would go to the 3 guys they play tennis with in the Hamptons. Because I know these guys. I've been to the tennis tournament. I've seen it. And each one of them would buy 500 million each. And then they would just successively say, I bought 500 million for my fund. He bought 500 million for his fund. The next week, someone else buys 500 million. By the time 4 of them have bought 500 million, bang, 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 the FOMO kicks in like there is no tomorrow. You remember when Bill Ackman got on television during the crisis and he basically groveled and explained how the world was coming to an end while he was shorting the stock market? He shorted the entire stock market. He said the world was going to come to an end. The market traded down. He covered his bet. He made $2 billion, and then he bragged about it.
That was on like a $50 million bet too. It was some crazy asymmetrical return. And
yeah, so I mean, my point is these guys do this for a living, right? I mean, this is what they do. If you've got $1 billion and you put all of it in Bitcoin, it's commitment, it's conviction. When you've got $10 billion and you put 500 million into Bitcoin, you know, it's just a day's work. I mean, that was the idea this month. I mean, Ray Dalio's of the world, that's just kind of what you would do just to entertain yourself, you know, or George Soros if they got interested. So I think that the guys that move next, that have the easiest possible decision-making process, the least to lose, the most to gain, are guys that are just running huge amounts of fast money in these hedge funds that are just looking for their next idea.
But this was definitely not all of it. Now we're going to talk about the second reason. And the second reason is even bigger than institutional FOMO, and that is government FOMO. Yes, you heard that right. I'm talking about government FOMO. Look at this article right here. Iran changes law to use Bitcoin for imports. Well, first of all, you think, well, that's not really a big deal. We already heard about Iran, that they give out licenses for Bitcoin mining and stuff like that. But listen carefully what this article says. The Iranian cabinet has amended legislation to redirect cryptos in the central bank of Iran's funding mechanism for imports, according to a Saturday report by the official IRNA news agency. But it's actually getting better. The miners are supposed to supply the original cryptocurrency directly and within the authorized limit to the channels introduced by the CBI, said the report by CBI and the Ministry of Energy. By the way, the CBI is the central bank of Iran. The legal cap for the amount of cryptocurrency for each miner would be determined by the level of the subsidized energy used for mining and based on instructions published by the Ministry of Energy. This is getting serious out there, guys, okay? We do not just see institutional investors FOMOing into Bitcoin right now, which is probably going to be more in the future because we now have the first movers. We saw the first movers doing their moves already, placing their bets on Bitcoin because they need a hedge against cash. And that is something Michael Saylor points out in this video in here as well, that many companies out there, they have massive cash reserves, and not being invested in Bitcoin is kind of irresponsible for the shareholders because we all know about the devaluation of cash. If you still don't know why cash is devaluating, just once again have a look at the M2 money stock. That's a measurement of all the US dollars circling around, and I want to remind you that we printed more than 20% of all the existing US dollars in just within 2020. So in 2020, we printed as much money as we had in total in existing in the 90s, okay? So just think about those numbers. Those are absolutely insane numbers. So if institutional FOMO is not going to do it, if government FOMO is not going to do it, well, we know what definitely will do it, and that is the infinite printing of the US dollar. So don't worry, guys. Eventually, Bitcoin will be traded at 1 million US dollars. The question is just when, and the other question is how much will 1 million US dollars even be worth when the price of Bitcoin is trading for that 1 million US dollars? That is the biggest question, but we're definitely gonna get there. Maybe not in this cycle. Well, most definitely not in this cycle. I personally predict the Bitcoin price to top out at approximately 100 up to 200,000 US dollars by the end of 2021, plus minus a couple months. That is my realistic objective forecast for the Bitcoin price, my prediction. But a cycle after that, or a cycle after that, so 2025 or 2029, somewhere around those years, I personally see Bitcoin going up to 1 million US dollars per Bitcoin. That is definitely in the cards. That is definitely possible. And that's not even too optimistic because once again, the Federal Reserve is just printing more and more and more of the world's reserve. So the question is just going to be when Bitcoin will reach 1 million US dollars. How much will that 1 million US dollars be worth at that point in time?